This is Heather Langenkamp from A Nightmare on Elm Street. Whatever you do, don't fall asleep. Listen to the Dave and Creech Show.
This is the Dave and Creech Show, the only podcast where podcaster CJ Creech and actor Dave Sheridan come together to talk all things entertainment with your favorite entertainers. Want to ask our guests a question? Tweet them to @DaveSheridan or @CJCNOV88, and they may be asked to our guests live on the show. We do have to ask you stay seated during the podcast because this ride may get a little bit hilarious. Now here's your hosts, Dave and Creech.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Dave and Creech Show podcast. I am Creech and he is Dave, and I just completely switched that one around, but it's all right. I gave myself top billing.
No, you said the Dave and Creech Show, didn't you?
I said the Dave and Creech Show, but then I introduced myself first.
You can do that. You're talking. I have no problem with you introducing yourself first as long as my name's first in the podcast.
Oh, well, okay. I guess that works.
Because it's not alphabetical. Otherwise, it would be Creech and Dave.
That is very true.
Yeah.
Well.
Top billing.
Maybe I was just giving myself top billing and announcing our names separately because of the whole, my actor, my new Hollywood life, apparently. On a Strip Club Massacre. Oh
yeah. So let's just jump right into that. You shot a scene for Strip Club Massacre. What
I did?
Tell me all about it. Fill me in on. Were you just sort of a glorified extra, or was there actually a little moment, or what was the whole thing?
It was a little more than an extra. But thankfully, I didn't have any vocal lines because I was not. Everything came together really fast. We talked about it last week on the podcast, and it was. They got in touch with me on a Friday and said, "Hey, can you come down to Atlanta on Sunday?" And so I had to move everything around. I was able to get down to there. I went down with my one of my cameramen, Brian, and I got to be in the film in a very pivotal role.
Wait a second. You have no lines, but it's a pivotal role.
Well, no, like a pivotal scene, and I am featured very heavily in the shots. I'm almost front and center.
So what was so pivotal about the scene? Give me some details, man.
I can't say.
Oh gosh, because this is going to be out on 4,000 screens.
Yes.
What do you mean?
Actually, I don't know how many screens it's going to be out on. Actually, I just know they're having the premiere in some theater in Georgia.
Good. I'm going to be at that. I want to be at that. So
you are?
Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I will.
Everybody was missing you, by the way, on the set.
Oh yeah.
Everybody was like, "Where's Dave?" And I was like, "He wasn't able to make it. He's doing 50 million things right now."
Wait a second. Did you promise that I'd be there or something?
No. They just assumed that you would be stopping by. I think that's maybe that is why when all things were said and done, they were filming off of Sheridan Street. They were like, or Sheridan Road. They were like, right. Maybe if we film here, he will come.
Yeah. I just wanted to make sure you weren't like, yeah, Creech and Dave show or Dave and Creech show. Like, we'll totally be there. We'll totally be, yep. And then they're like, okay, Creech, we got your wardrobe. Dave's is this. You guys are playing it. Like, where is he at? Is he late? Where is he coming? Like, no, it's cool. He's busy. And let's just shoot.
No, you see, what I actually did was I told them that you would come down, and then when they just kept questioning where you were, I was just like, "Oh, he'll be here." And then I waited till the whole day, till they filmed all my stuff, and then I was like, he's not coming. That's what happened. Except, oops, I guess he's not coming. Sorry, guys. Thanks for letting me be in the movie.
All right, so walk me through at least your scene. Tell me what happened. Now, obviously, it's at a strip club. I saw the photos. You're at a strip club.
I am
It's
at a strip club.
Massacre. And
It
do you
is
die or
strip
not?
club
Do you
massacre.
get murdered? Do you get massacred?
I
do you
do
get
not
killed?
die.
Mm.
Thankfully, right now, I am still. I've never been killed on screen. Because even in the stuff that I shot, I've never died.
Okay.
So I'm my alive streak has continued. And hey, I survived a horror movie. No matter what, now I can say that.
There you go. So
Unless,
how many people were in the whole scene? How many actors were there? 15, 5, 10?
Probably about 10 to 12.
Got it. And so what did they have you do?
What did I do? Well, one of the things I got to do, because I got to do a couple of things.
Okay.
Because I was in more than one scene. It was just one of the scenes was kind of like a pivotal moment for one of the main characters.
Right.
But one of the things I got to do was pretend like I was partying. And that was very interesting. I mean, I guess I didn't really think too much about it before actually doing this, but you know, there's no music, and you're having to kind of move around to beats that don't exist, and it's kind of interesting, the whole aspect of that behind the scenes of staging a party without music, or you know, water is your alcohol,
Right.
and stuff like that. It was just kind of new to me.
Well, yeah, it happens. But I've also done films where alcohol is the alcohol and there is music sometimes. So, you know, it all depends on how they're deciding to shoot it. I mean, it's probably smarter. I definitely think it's always smarter to not have real alcohol on set. That's definitely something that you should avoid. Music that's up to whoever's editing it and how they want to do it. Because sometimes they'll put like a click track, you know, like some sort of beat or something that people can kind of go to, you know what I mean? So, or they'll have music if it's MOS, and then they'll switch out the music later on. Like for instance, in Walking Deceased, in that strip club scene, the woman that played my wife, she came out and danced to a song. There was definitely a song. I think it was like, it was either, what's that one band that did Pyromania? The guy lost his arm.
Oh, Def Leppard.
Yeah, it was either Def Leppard or Michael Jackson. I couldn't remember the song she was dancing to, but obviously in the movie that we released, we couldn't afford those, so it was a different song. But they were able to take the song out and put that one in, and because it was all MOS, so everything else that you heard was, you know, after the music was going on. So ultimately, though, how long was the shoot? How long were you shooting for?
From about 1:30 in the afternoon till about 8:30 at night.
Well, that's good.
Yeah,
that wasn't that long of a day.
It was, and it was 7 hours at a strip club with dancers. So I mean, it's not like it was a very taxing day in that sense. It was a very enjoyable day.
What was the most enjoyable thing? The lunch break?
No, there wasn't a lunch break. I mean, they had food that they provided, and actually they did actually have alcoholic beverages off screen, but I didn't partake in any of those while I was filming, mainly because I knew I had to drive back to Charleston when I was done. I don't know. My most enjoyable part was just interacting with the people on the set. I mean, it was a really good cast and crew. I mean, I was worried going into this. I mean, because when I first met everybody, it was it was at Days of the Dead, and I was thinking, okay, well, these people were really nice there, but when we're actually working with them, how are they going to be? And they were actually just as nice and easygoing on set as they were off, which was just really awesome. And it definitely felt like a family atmosphere there. Not like that you'd bring your children to, because obviously you're filming a strip club, but everybody seemed close and jokey enough that, it didn't feel like tense, or everybody liked everybody. It was just nice. I'm sure most sets, well, or at least half of the sets that you work on may or may not be like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I think ultimately most sets are cordial and nice because people want to be there. People that tend not to want to be somewhere they'll weed themselves out. And they've been shooting this thing off and on for so long that whoever's showing up are people that obviously are liking what they do, on the Strip Club Massacre side of things. So, how big was the crew? I mean, how aside from the actors, how big was the crew? Was it like 7 people or 20 people or 10 or what do you think?
It wasn't a very big crew. As a matter of fact, a lot of people wore multiple hats.
Right. Well, and that, yeah, look, absolutely. In a situation such as that, with that budget and that type of filmmaking, you have to wear multiple hats. You know what I mean? That's just the way it goes. So
let's see. They had the makeup lady there. They had the producer. They had kind of like I guess a grip and boom operator, director, and the actual camera handler guy.
I can't wait to see it, man. I wish you would have gotten killed, though. At least you have something to tell me. So, in one scene you were pretending to party, and the next scene you were. Did you get to tip? Did you get to at least put tips in the strippers or something like that? Anything like that?
I did, yes, and that was another thing. Actually, I should post the photo of it. It was just hilarious. The dollars that they were using, like the fake movie dollars.
Okay.
I could not stop staring at George Washington's face because he had like the most nonchalant, like uninterested look on his face, and his eyes were rolled up to the top of his head. And I don't know why, but it just stuck with me. And every time I would look at it, I'd laugh.
I want a little bit more. I think you're like trying to be protective of the storyline or something like that. You can tell a little bit of the story. You know what I mean? Like, I think they want to promote a little bit of Strip Club Massacre here.
Well, I do know now that because we were trying to figure out what the whole plot of the movie was. It's definitely a rape revenge movie. And it's definitely
that's an oxymoron. Why would anybody? I mean, I don't get it. Wait a second. Hold on. Slow down. Just stop right there. Are you saying that somebody's inflicting revenge through rape, or somebody's getting revenge on a rape?
Getting revenge on a rape.
Through killing, through massacring, right?
Yes.
Right. I like the story of somebody like, oh man, you killed my whatever. You killed my high school coach, and I'm going to rape you. That's my revenge, rape revenge. Like the guy that goes around raping people for his revenge. You know what I mean? Like, damn it, you ran over my dog. I'm going to rape you. So it's rape revenge. Clearly. So what? Who raped her? Who raped her?
That I don't know. I did see some scenes that definitely led me to believe that it is a female that in fact does get raped and does. I know who does the killing, but I can't really say.
So is it a mystery in this movie who does the killing?
I don't think so. I mean, it's a mystery right now because they haven't revealed anything. But I have a feeling that when the way the movie will more than likely play out is that they will reveal, obviously, probably through the rape scene, what happened to the girl, and then obviously the rest of the movie would be her getting her revenge on whoever was involved.
All right. So now you wrote on this thing, Scooby-Doo Mystery Machine Police Chase. Oh, okay. It all broke down. I see. I wasn't reading it. I get it. The machine part threw me off. So, because when I first read your list topics, I saw Scooby-Doo Mystery, right? And
Yeah.
then I saw Machine Police Chase. So I was looking at it as Scooby-Doo Mystery, and we're going to talk about the Machine Police Chase. And I was like, what the hell's a Machine Police Chase? But you're talking about the actual Scooby-Doo Mystery Machine is the van, and it was involved in a police chase that was probably like one of those helicopter on the news things in reality, you're saying?
Yes. So what I'm going to do this week is a little bit differently. Honestly, yes, there has been stuff. Okay, so Kim Kardashian posted yet another picture of herself naked on Twitter. Big whoop. There really wasn't
and just
that.
like nobody even wants to talk about it at all, right? I mean,
Yeah, I mean, there's just wasn't really anything to really go over entertainment wise that I could find throughout the week or today when I was making the list. So I just looked up various random, weird, odd news stories from last week, and I happened upon one that was posted today about like just what you said, a Scooby-Doo mystery machine leads police on wild chase in California. Um, and it looks like the cops were having a little bit of fun with it as well, even though it was a serious police chase. This is what it states in the news article. It's already an unusual sight, the mystery machine from the Scooby-Doo cartoon being driven down the road, but add a car chase and the scene becomes downright bizarre. Images of the van have been circulated on social media after it was involved in a high-speed chase Sunday afternoon. The driver wasn't Shaggy or Fred. It was, however, 51-year-old Sharon Turman, who apparently decided to make a run for it during a routine probation check. Her probation officer called 911 immediately, and officers responded with a little humor. "Is this our 12 on Velma or Daphne?" an officer asked over police radio. "I think it's our Scooby." Turman headed south, speeding and driving recklessly the whole time, running 2 cars off the road. More officers joined in, and they needed to know what kind of vehicle they were chasing. Over the radio, they were told it's almost teal green 90 Dodge Caravan. It had yellow paint splattered on the side. Look for Scooby-Doo nonsense. The mystery machine plowed down the highway. From the police radio, to be specific, it's supposed to be the mystery machine from Scooby-Doo. At this point, Turman had 4 units chasing her on the ground and a California Highway Patrol helicopter above. Other officers started to stage a few miles down when the chase was called off because of safety concerns. Trying to warn them, officers heard over the radio. Holy cow, she almost just took out a vehicle. Blew the light at about 70. Turman also caused multiple crashes before she abandoned the mystery machine, and like one of the ghouls in the cartoon series, she vanished. Turman is still on the run, and police are asking anyone who may know where she is to call them.
She would have got away with it if it wasn't for you meddling kids. I like the fact that, like, during this mystery machine chase, that the police are actually using dialogue from a cartoon like that. Like, holy cow, it's dangerous. Like, it's like, that's what you quoted. Like, it's actually like they're using the Hanna-Barbera type of cartoon language. Like, zoinks, she almost got hit.
Exactly.
Like, hey, Scoob.
Yeah, like, it's just hilarious one. I mean, nobody got injured, so it thank goodness for that. But the cops, even though, it's a serious chase, they're trying to pull over this person in the mystery machine, but yet they're having fun with it as well, because, I mean, let's be honest, you're probably not going to chase down the mystery machine too many times in your lifetime.
No, there's definitely, you've got one shot at chasing the mystery machine. There's probably more opportunities to chase Gary Busey or, David Hasselhoff later on down the line than there is another mystery machine. Your chances of you chasing David Hasselhoff in the Knight Rider car is probably higher than the mystery machine.
Exactly, and just the fact that she disappeared after this. She was not apprehended.
Yeah. Well, Whose van was it though? Was it her van? Did they at least say that? Like it was registered in her name, or it was like it was stolen, or it belonged to her boyfriend who does clown parties in the mystery. I mean, there was no like. That's the thing is like we're more interested in the van. I don't give a crap about this lady. I want to know who has the van, why she had the van, what she was running from. Was it because the van was stolen? I mean, what was the deal?
No,
Or did I miss that?
You missed it. Well, I mean, it doesn't flat out state that was her van, but it says the driver was the 50-year-old Sharon Turman. But it was actually.
But it didn't say she owns the van. It didn't say she owns the van.
It didn't, but it did say what had happened was that her probation officer stopped her for a routine probation check.
Okay, got it.
And she apparently decided to make a run for it for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And
because she was high on Scooby snacks, dude. He's like, "What is that in your mouth?"
She must have been
Scooby snacks. I like how they try to, yeah. I mean, I would, if I was her, I would sue for defamation because I like how the what do they call that? The person on the radio, the dispatcher, was sort of playing down the Scooby. It clearly was the mystery machine, but she kind of made it like it's an underhanded compliment. It's like it's trying to be like the Scooby-Doo mystery machine, something like it. It's like it is it. It's the Scooby-Doo mystery machine. It's cool the lady had that as her van, but don't try to play it down like she's going for something like the mystery machine. Like what was that quote? What was it? What was it that she said right there about the van?
Well, there was two things. There was one that he said
it's got the yellow writing. It was right after the yellow writing on the side.
It had yellow paint splatter on the side. Look for Scooby-Doo nonsense.
Right, Scooby-Doo nonsense. Like, look for it's Scooby-Doo nonsense. It's nothing. No, and then I thought it said basically didn't it say basically it's trying to be, or it just said look for Scooby-Doo nonsense?
Look for Scooby-Doo nonsense.
Right. It's kind of a slap in the face on that van. I mean, somebody took time to paint that thing, and it probably looks freaking awesome.
It doesn't look that bad.
Nonsense. Oh, so you're looking at a photo of it or something?
Well, yeah, there's an actual photo of it in the article. Plus, they have links to apparently Facebook and cell phone footage and footage from the highway patrol of the actual chase.
Hey, co-host, you send me the topics. Why didn't you just send me the link too when you were at it? What the heck?
I can send you the link. I'm hoping.
Yeah, come on, dude. It's got to be Scooby-Doo.
But yeah, so that was
okay. Well, wait a second.
I guess something interesting that happened on Sunday, end of the week. Maybe she was wanting to get there to her house before the Walking Dead started.
Oh, there you go. Or she was like late to get the Strip Club Massacre set going. I think Dave Sheridan's going to be there. Creech said he would be there. Maybe I just have to take the van. But I am supposed to go to my probation. Should I take care of my probation or should I get to the Strip Club Massacre set? Oh, you know what? I'm not going to get there. The producer can just fill in on that laptop scene. I would say laptop scene, lap dance scene. All right, so then you wrote this thing, Museum of Broken Relationships.
Yes, that is the second thing. That was another thing. And actually, oddly enough, this is going on in Los Angeles right now. But I found it interesting nonetheless. It states that a new Los Angeles museum is seeking heartbroken lovers willing to donate the rest of their past relationships for public display. The traveling exhibition known as the Museum of Broken Relationships is set to open its second permanent location in Los Angeles by May 2016. The museum, which was founded by Croatian artists in 2006, showcases various items from failed relationships, ranging from CDs and cassettes to old sneakers and other pieces of clothing. The Museum
Mixtapes
of The Museum of Broken Relationships grew from a traveling exhibition revolving around the concept of failed relationships and their ruins. The museum's fact page states, The museum offers a chance to overcome an emotional collapse through creation by contributing to the permanent collection. And interested parties can submit their donation to the museum along with a story that provides details on the items and their emotional significance. The items are then displayed anonymously although a full name is required in the donation process to confirm consent. Items of all kinds, ranging from handwritten letters to large and expensive items such as instruments or vehicles, can be exhibited as long as the accompanying story does not contain any content deemed offensive or discriminatory on personal, sexual, racial, religious, national, or ethnic grounds. So, yeah, that could be an interesting thing, especially I would assume in L.A. Well, everybody's dated somebody over there.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, no, the museum is in L.A. now, right? Or is it a traveling thing?
Their second permanent location will be there in May. Mm-hmm. It'll open in May.
Right.
So they're collecting stuff now.
They're collecting stuff from all over.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be based. The broken relationship stuff doesn't have to be based in L.A. So I think it's kind of a downer, though. I don't know if I would go there and go, let me go and look at the same old crap that I guarantee that we're all going to see. Unless, there might be something interesting in there, like a broken bowling pin or something. I don't know. Yeah. So basically they're like, were you involved in some major heart-crushing breakup? What are the artifacts from that breakup that you would like to donate and kind of contribute to the story? We won't use your full name.
Yeah, right? Yeah. They only need the name for your full name for, I guess, to verify for whatever reasons. But yeah, your name will actually not be out with your item. I don't know how they're going to do that with letters. I mean, obviously, love letters or whatever would have names on them. So I don't know if they're going to scratch the names out.
They can resend them like the government does with Hillary Clinton's top secret emails that she put on a public server. So they can just black out stuff. Yes. So what would be? You're young. You're 27. I'm probably. I don't know. Do you have anything in mind that you would submit to this broken relationship thing and what that story would be?
Oh, man. I mean, something from my marriage, I would assume. Yes, I have a perfect item. I still have it somewhere. I don't know where it's at, but I know I would. If I can find it, I would send it. It's this journal/diary thing that my ex-wife made me when we were dating. And it's just like, it's kind of looks like what you get when a parent makes a journal or a scrapbook for their kid when they're born, but it has like certain milestones in our 6-month relationship at the time, and there's pictures, and just the most like cringe-worthy photos, like like cheesy, like just bad. And that would be interesting to post that because it was very weird.
No, you're not going to post it. It's not posting. You donate.
Well, no,
right?
I know. Yeah, that's what I mean. It wouldn't. One thing I wouldn't donate would be my wedding ring because I never got one. So
there's a good reason. Obviously, you're not going to donate.
Yeah, it worked out in the end. Yeah.
No, but here's the thing.
Exactly.
Like, if you donate that sort of what do you want to call it? What do they call that when the parents make that thing?
A scrapbook.
Scrapbook, yeah, whatever, like a timeline book, or I don't know,
a relationship
memory book, a memory book, maybe. They will have your photos though, so someone could go, oh, that's Creech and his wife, like, because I don't know if they would accept. Maybe they would accept personal photos. They'd have to have her probably sign off on the thing too, and she probably wouldn't or whatever. I don't even know where you buried her. First of all,
they could black out her eyes.
Yeah, that's true. Well, you've already done that. Haven't you already done that? Did you go through and do all that? I thought you did.
No, I didn't.
But the best part about you telling me the story of what you had for the broken relationship was, again, you were breaking up so much in the conversation. I couldn't hear what you said, but it was like breaking up, and you're talking about breaking up. And the funny thing is, for me, I don't think I have anything from any previous relationships that I ever had anyway, because anything that I would probably deem like, that was a memento, or that reminds me of that relationship, they're all things that I gave the other person. Do you know what I mean? Like, those are the things that I probably cherish, or the things that I gave the other person. I don't think I have anything like, that was a gift that someone gave me, or that this was, this was a CD that we always listened to, or we both had these matching sweaters, or she gave me this, on Valentine's Day, she gave me these heart underwear or something like that. I don't have anything like that. So I'd have to really think about what I have that would share some sort of relationship timeline. You know what I mean? Like, that is a specific period that I was dating this person, so.
Yeah, I mean, well, I do want to float this out to our listeners, as we're posting this. I'm interested in hearing what some of our listeners would include in this exhibit if they were to donate. You don't have to get extremely personal, but it is an interesting thing to see what you would do. I mean, I never was one to make. I mean, obviously, I'm dating how young I am. I wasn't really around for mixtapes. I was mixed CDs, but I didn't really do all that. The only other thing that I would donate, and I still have it, was I edited together a video for our wedding set to Michael Jackson's "Do You Remember the Time?" It's so bad. It's another one of those really, really bad things you look back on and you're just like, oh my God, that was so horrible. Like, the cheese factor was just off the charts. So maybe if they could just re-loop that over and over again, that would be a pretty hilarious addition to their to their little museum.
Right. Yeah. That would probably be me. Maybe some CDs of music that I was listening to at the time, that might be it. I don't know. I'd have to think. I did total a car once trying to get back together with a girlfriend. I was driving late at night, like 3 a.m. to go track her down. And I was getting off the highway. It was raining, and I just got off the exit too fast and just slammed into a wall and just blew out, like the rim just was bent, basically like a tire fell off or whatever. And I still managed to like drive another 200 miles on it, on like a flat tire or whatever. And I got to her house, and it was just her mom was home. And she was like, I saw you out there since like 3 a.m. I think you were throwing rocks at the window. She wasn't home. She's not home. You want some orange juice? I go, oh, sure. I got some orange juice. All right, I got to go. Okay, you sure you're okay? I go, yeah. And she sees my car is all banging. What's up with your car? I go, nah, I got to get it fixed. It was totaled. So there you go. I guess if I had to turn something into, I would try to find that car.
That totaled car.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, that could be... They did say they were accepting cars, so that does work.
I've totaled like 4 cars. I'm not that good of a driver. Actually, I'm going to court tomorrow morning. I must have totaled 4 cars. Obviously I've been driving 30 years, so it's not that bad. I mean, most people haven't totaled any. But for my record, for Dave Sheridan, the guy that's headed is in the clouds, what is it? 4 divided by 30 is something, I don't know, 8, 9, 8, close to 8. Every 8 years, I basically total a car. But I always have this feeling like I actually died in those car accidents, and like these are just like my 9 lives. One of the cars, I was run over by an 18-wheeler, right? I'm talking, this car looked like a smushed tin can. You know what I mean? If I flipped a couple times, it ran over it, just ran right over it, the 18-wheeler, right? And I just walked away from it. I was like, oh man, my car. But I'm thinking, like, I look back going, like, did I really die in that thing? And this is just like, I'm in this like purgatory, keep resetting thing, where it just keeps going. Okay. It's like setting the Lego, setting the action figure falls down, and then you just set it back up right where, wind it back up, start over. But you're not really starting over. You start exactly where you ended. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I wonder, does that make any sense?
Well, yeah. I've totaled one car in my lifetime so far. If you don't count driving the car that the wheels could have blown off at any second. I mean, technically that one in the end wasn't road safe either.
That's right.
But
you
actually,
were very close to that one. If the wheels came off, that would have been
total number 2.
Next sort of, right. Of like, holy shit, I could have died there.
Exactly.
Or did you die? That's what I'm saying. Like, I could have died when that car that 18-wheeler ran over my car, flipped it, and just crushed it. But yet I didn't get hurt. And I'm just kind of like, wait a second. Or did I die? And it just kind of like, it's like those respawn. That's what I'm trying to think of. That Tom Cruise movie or whatever. You know what I mean? It's like I just get respawned again, So.
But yeah, so, well.
Oh, you just go right over it, Creech. Sorry.
I do. Well, I'm trying to finish this podcast so you can get some sleep for your exciting day in court tomorrow.
I just wanted to get a little serious here on this. Do I respawn or not?
I don't know.
Okay, that's a good answer. That is the correct answer. Better than no. It's definitely better than a no. I think you're better off saying I don't know.
Yeah, because no is technically still in there, and I don't know it.
Yeah, exactly. What do we know?
Well, we do have an interview today.
Okay, so who are we interviewing?
Our interview is actually, we talked about her last week. Originally, it was going to be Tobin Bell, but his interview is a longer interview, so I wanted to wait on that because his is a little over an hour. So today, we talked about her last week. She's working on the new Hellraiser movie right now, and she played Nancy in the original Nightmare on Elm Street. Our interview today is with Miss Heather Langenkamp. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Dave and Creech Show. I am here with Heather Langenkamp, who everybody remembers as Nancy from A Nightmare on Elm Street 1, 3, and New Nightmare. How have you been?
I've been doing great. My voice is a little hoarse from all day of talking, but I've had a great day here, and it's my first time in Atlanta at any kind of show, so it's been a great show.
Yeah, and the weather, surprisingly for Atlanta, isn't too bad right now.
I wouldn't know because I have not left the hotel.
Now, we talked to Robert about 3 months ago, and he gave us some funny stories from the making of the original Nightmare on Elm Street. Is there any stories that you can remember from filming that movie?
Well, I worked really hard on that movie. I worked almost every day, and it's funny. I remember shooting the scenes themselves, but I remember very little about kind of hanging around behind, on the sets, because I was either like changing my wardrobe or getting, ready for the next scene, and I had to concentrate so hard that it's all kind of like a blur. It's like having a baby. You just don't remember any about it. And so I have to rely on Robert to tell me the funny stories from that time.
Back in the 80s, your character was actually one of the first really strong female characters that stood up to the monsters and overcame the odds. When reading the script, is that one of the reasons that appealed to you?
People say that these women in the 70s and 80s were the first, but they really weren't. I mean, I can pick, many examples of really strong women in film, starting with Dorothy in A Wizard of Oz, and, you had all sorts of interesting women-monster relationships. Some of them were more, like King Kong, maybe they're not as strong as Nancy in some ways. But I never really thought about it in those terms. I always thought that I was continuing a very long line of really strong ladies in film. So, but I'm flattered that people look back to this particular movie and think, oh, Nancy was even more kind of strong and resourceful than other characters. That's a very flattering thing for me, yeah.
Now, which was harder to prepare for as an actor, playing Nancy in the first Nightmare on Elm Street or playing a version of yourself for New Nightmare?
I think in the beginning, I thought that the first Nancy in the first movie was very similar to myself as a girl, how I had grown up. I stood up for myself a lot, I felt like, and it wasn't that much of a stretch to play Nancy. Wes wrote the part so well that I didn't have to do a lot of research and preparation like I was being an astronaut or anything like that. And then for the seventh movie, I actually did prepare quite a lot because I wanted to create a character that was an interesting woman, and I didn't feel like if I just walked on set and acted like myself that would be very interesting. So I did kind of think about how she would do things and bring things to the character that weren't necessarily like me at all.
And now, on top of continuing acting, you're also doing stuff behind the scenes. I see you've got a documentary right here called I Am Nancy. And you've also worked on, you did special effects on Scream Queens, correct?
Well, my husband is a very famous makeup artist named David Anderson, and he's been working in the business for 30 years. And so now we have a company together. I'm kind of like his financial officer and his, business manager. And so we do a lot of movies, but I am not a makeup artist. I never do makeup. I don't know how to do it. It's a huge skill that I wouldn't even attempt to try to do. So he does all the artistic work, and I do all of the kind of managing of our business.
All the fun, crunching the numbers out.
Yeah, I'm really good at bookkeeping. Yeah, if anybody needs a bookkeeper, I'm right here.
And how was it putting together the I Am Nancy documentary?
Well, after going to these conventions it was about 25 years at this time, I was thinking to myself, I'd really like to do something while I'm at these conventions that was kind of a little more interesting for myself and really turn the camera onto the fans, because I had the camera on me for so long, and I thought, I have such incredible fans and their stories are incredibly unique. So how can I take advantage of this? And I decided to take a camera crew with me to 7 conventions, and we ended up making this documentary that I'm extremely proud of. It's very rough. There's lots of mistakes in it. There's lots of crazy, we took a lot of it on iPhones, and we did it on my computer camera. I mean, any way we could get footage. So it's an interesting movie, and I love it. I'm very proud of it.
Now, if they're not going to conventions, where can they buy their own copy of I Am Nancy?
So there's 2 places. You can go to my store on Amazon, which is, you just look up I Am Nancy on Amazon.com and it would come up. And that is a nice place to buy it. But if you want me to sign it, you have to go to my website, and that's iamnancy.net, and then you can place an order through PayPal, and then you can pay a little extra, and I put my signature on it. So a lot of people buy it that way if they want me to personalize it.
Okay, well, I do want to thank you again. Make sure all of you check out I Am Nancy and buy your personalized copy. And
thank you.
And just once again, thank you again. It's been a pleasure.
Good luck with your podcast.
Thank
Take care.
you.
All right.
Hey guys, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that interview with Heather Langenkamp as much as I did doing the interview. Normally at this point, we would actually be going right into our Walking Dead Wrapup. But unfortunately, there was a little bit of a problem with the audio. For some reason, we didn't get full audio on this week's review / wrap-up that we did with me, Dave, and Alyssa. So instead of airing the butchered and clipped version of the interview. I'd much rather just do a whole new interview. Rest assured, I have got people looking into this because it is completely unacceptable that the program we're using is doing this. And basically what it did was it recorded the first part of Alyssa's, and it recorded the last part of Alyssa's. Me and David recorded all the way through. Didn't cut out any of ours, but it did cut out Alyssa's. And unfortunately, without Alyssa's audio in there, me and Dave's doesn't make sense. There's a lot of dead air in between everything. And I don't want to subject you guys to that. So I listened to the audio, and I'm just going to go over the points from the last 2 episodes. If you're wondering why we didn't do one last week, it's because Alyssa, she's doing better now, but she had appendicitis. She had to have emergency surgery. If she would have waited any longer, which once again she didn't even know she had it, but if she would have waited any longer to go to the doctors, she could have died. So it was very serious that we didn't do a wrap up last week. So this week's wrap up isn't going to get an intro. I'm just going to go straight into it right now, and I'm actually doing this hours before it's being released online. So here we go. All right, we are covering the last 2 episodes of The Walking Dead. These were 2 kind of chapter episodes. They kind of flowed one right into the other. When you think about last week's episode was about them getting to the hilltop and Maggie making the deal to secure the food. And, of course, that food came with a price, with the additional bounty of being get rid of Negan and his saviors. So this week is the follow-up to that, where Rick and them are actually trying to get rid of the saviors. Now, me, Alyssa, and Dave all were pretty intrigued by everything that's going on, and we can't wait to see what's next, of course. However, we do have some differing opinions about what's going to be next. Until these 2 episodes, especially this last one in general, aired, I was dead set on either Daryl or Glenn getting the Lucille death by Negan. However, upon watching this episode, it's got me, to be honest, second guessing what's going to happen. Because I could very well see Maggie or Carol going now, just to throw everybody off. And Alyssa thinks the same way. She didn't see any reason why either of those 2 would be getting Lucille, but now she does. And Dave, on the other hand, thinks Maggie's safe because, in his words, to be honest, AMC is not going to have the guts to kill a pregnant female on the show. So, could very well happen. Could very well not. We're going to have to wait to see. We won't have to wait too long. As it pertains to everything else in the show, we got to find out more about Jesus, and Dave is still iffy on if they should actually trust him. But I feel that he proved his worth in this last episode. I mean, Glenn and Heath could have been shot. You don't know what would have happened, but it definitely looked like that was leading to one of them getting shot if Jesus wouldn't have been there. So in the end on that, Jesus saved, pun intended, the group. It's also nice to see everybody stepping up. It's also frightening to see everybody stepping up, because as one of the things anybody who's watched this show long enough knows, once you step up, once you become a moral majority, once you start contributing to the group and giving talks, positive talks, pep talks, whatever, you die. And I mentioned this way back in the first half of the Walking Dead review, or the Walking Dead wrap-up for Season 6, that had me thinking Tara was going to be the one to go. And this week kind of sealed the deal for me. I do honestly believe she will not make it to the finale. As a matter of fact, she was leaving off to do a supply run. at the end of this episode. When you look back at the first half of the season, she did have a little more of an advanced role for a couple of episodes. Not to mention she had pep talks with some of the Alexandrians. She risked her life to save Spencer when he fell in. And then, her developing relationship with Denise leading up to last night, telling Denise before she left that she loved her for the first time. And then the confession with Father Gabriel and Jesus in the car. I honestly believe that the character of Tara is now going to unfortunately be leaving us very soon, because as has been shown multiple times on this series, is when somebody like that starts to have some sort of relationship, or they start to develop feelings for somebody, or they even actually just start to be more helpful to the group, bad things usually come their way. So it's not looking good for poor Tara. Also, not last episode, but the episode before that, we got to meet Gregory and the Hilltop, and he was a different character. We couldn't quite remember what his actual job title was before the apocalypse, so if any of our listeners remember, feel free to send it our way, because we couldn't remember. But it seems like he's definitely not quite leadership material. He Dave thought he was kind of a wimp, kind of lacking a spine, and we were both, all three of us, were actually surprised that he got to the leadership position, being how he is. But obviously, he hasn't been doing a good job as being leader, as he's basically bowed down to Negan, and he's still getting his people killed, which Dave pointed out that also could be applied to Rick, as Rick has consistently gotten his people killed, not on purpose sometimes, but a lot of people died because of his Walker parade through the quarry. So Dave isn't quite yet willing to get over that. Now, what do we think is next? It could be one of many different scenarios. Obviously, I mean, we all know, and you can all see that we're leading towards a Negan appearance and a fight between them. None of us thought at all that the compound that Rick and them wound up assaulting was actually Negan's compound. We are all completely sure that Negan is not there. However, we did find it odd that if you were to come into this show right now, just start watching with this episode, you wouldn't be able to tell who was the good guys and who was the bad guys, because what Rick and them did was horrible. It was reprehensible. And that's a sign of the world they live in, of course, but Rick isn't too far off of some of the villains that he's faced. Rick's preemptively striking to try to guarantee his group's survival, and of course, that kind of gives Negan a reason to attack when he does strike. And we do believe he's going to strike, and soon. I don't think it's going to be in the next episode, though. And the previews that they had shown, it definitely seems like we are going to get a kind of, I don't want to say filler episode, but I think it's going to slow things down. Because what The Walking Dead has done time and time again is when there's this big confrontation or big event that the show's building towards, they like to drag it out and make you wait a little bit before things can kind of come together and you can witness the battle, so to speak. A case in point, season 4, when it was revealed that the governor was right outside the prison walls, watching Rick and Carl. And then the next 2 episodes, we found out the governor's backstory, showing everything leading up to the governor getting to that wall,
And it wasn't until the episode after that, episode 8, the mid-season finale, that we actually saw the attack. And I feel like they're going to do something like that already, because we are now the episodes that we are reviewing this week were actually 11 and 12. That means we have 3 episodes left. Now, the next episode, in my opinion, looks and seems like it's going to be based on the ladies that kidnapped Carol and Rick. I feel like it's going to be a flashback showing what was going on while Rick was attacking the compound and them getting captured. And more than likely, just because it seems like it'd be something they do, it'll probably end around the same time that this one ended. Whether we see a little bit further to resolve or whether it ends at the exact moment. Now, with that being said, they've already released the synopsis for episode 15, and that one mentions that it's Heath and Tara run into some trouble. So I'm assuming that that episode's going to be based on them and whatever they are going to encounter out on their supply run. So in the end, I feel like we're not going to really get further into finding out just what was going on with Negan and everything until 17 at the earliest. Not 17, I'm sorry. 15 at the earliest. And then, that'll leave probably the finale, episode 16, for Negan to show up. But yeah, we loved the 2 episodes. They were actually 2 great episodes. The Walking Dead's been on a roll this second half. It's been fast-paced. It's been gritty. It's been rough. It's been pretty awesome. Me and Dave and Alyssa haven't had any complaints about it so far. I know if it goes the way I'm thinking next week, I might finally have some complaints. However, we're going to have to wait and see. As of releasing this, it's Wednesday, so we've got 4 or 5 days left till we'll know for sure. Next week, come hell or high water, we will be back like normally with all the correct working audio, because I'm not going to let this happen again. Other than that, guys, that's going to wrap things up for the Walking Dead Wrap-Up. Now, we're going to go back into me and Dave's audio and wrap this podcast up for this short edition of the Dave and Creech Show.
I have to watch something before I go to bed. So I don't know if I'm going to try to watch the one episode of Better Call Saul that I haven't seen, or they got all those House of Cards on, which are just, that probably is better for putting me to sleep, because that series has just gone to the toilet of boredom. You know what I mean? It's not interesting at all.
I have
you watch either one of those?
Not watched Better Call Saul yet. That is a priority for me to do, though, because I love Breaking Bad. However, I only watched the first episode of House of Cards, and it just isn't my thing. I'm not into the whole politics driven anything, even dramas. So I just...
Wait, you watched the first episode of the first season, you're saying? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was like, this is way more political than my brain likes, so let me shut that down.
Yeah. Yeah, it sort of teetered into that kind of West Wing. There's some West Wing shit, you know what I mean? And not enough Sopranos stuff. But the first season is very good. He murders a bunch of people. He's raping people in the ass. It's just, the guy is just awesome. And now he's like president, and it's the boringest thing in the world. He hasn't murdered anyone in 2 seasons. I was hoping that this guy would be president, and we were going to see like a Scarface president. You know what I mean? A guy like who's gunning down congressmen in an alley and still not getting caught. You know what I mean? Like with a machine gun. So, and the other thing about it that sort of makes it look so mundane is that this presidential race, and here, I couldn't get away from not bringing up the whole Trump boy and everybody else. They're just it's such buffoonery going on that it actually makes TV shows about that crap look mundane and generic. You know what I mean? When real life is just outstandingly interesting and colorful.
Exactly.
So, And that is all. All right, cool. Yeah, now I'm gonna go to bed. Chat with you later.
Shut up and sit down.
Thank you for listening to The Dave and Creech Show. The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are solely those of Dave and CJ. These views and opinions do not necessarily represent those of Creech Creative Productions or any of its affiliates.